Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So I just wanted to do this video in regards to the world is full of lonely people waiting to make the first move. I really believe this is so true, and kind of the thoughts behind this video. I went home for Christmas last week to Cleveland, and I saw the movie The Green Book with my mother. And I don't believe in learning life lessons from Hollywood movies, but sometimes Hollywood movies can project certain things about life that really are true. And one of the lines that the guy said, one of the main actors, I can't even remember the guy's name in real life, but he sat there and he said, "The world is full of lonely people who are waiting to make the first move." So I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Today is December 29th as I'm filming this video, and last night I had to go to a physical therapy appointment for some knee problems that I've had. And as I was talking to the physical therapist, I was wearing my Ohio State sweatshirt, and we were talking about the upcoming Rose Bowl, which is the UW Huskies versus Ohio State. So we had a little bit of conversation because he's an older man, but also from the Midwest. So we were both Midwest students who were under the School of Human Movement. So there was just this nice, cute, common bond and conversation that we had about sports and, Seattle versus the state of Ohio for this upcoming game on the New Year. And we were talking about integration, which is, today you see a lot of personal trainers who are adopting techniques from the physical therapy world. And there's a lot of people who have controversy about it. And there are other people who think it's amazing. And this physical therapist said, look, if personal trainers can be equipped with some form of knowledge, obviously we won't have as much knowledge as a physical therapist, but if these people can be equipped with some form of knowledge to help these individuals heal themselves, that's a really positive thing, because personal training is cheaper than physical therapy, especially if a person's health insurance doesn't cover physical therapy, or it only covers, say, maybe 8 or 10 or 12 visits. They can at least get some form of knowledge and then take that with a personal trainer. So I guess the point, what I'm trying to get at, we were talking about, I expressed how a lot of my clients do not keep up with their physical therapy routines. I see a lot of people who are in transition from physical therapy back into exercise. And he goes to me and he goes, "We live in a passive world and everybody expects the change to happen to them without doing any of the work." And I was like, I kind of sat there on the table. He's manipulating my leg. And I sat on the table and I'm like, this man's right. So that, coupled with that line that I heard from that movie, has really had my brain in some deep thoughts here. We really do live in a passive world. Jesus, I live here in Seattle, and it is so passive aggressive. It drives a lot of people nuts who move out here from the East Coast and Middle America, or maybe from the South, because it's just too passive. And that's how it is in the dating world out here. It's we're not really communicating, or nobody really knows what the heck is going on, because it's are we friends? Are we something else? Are we in between? So it's really interesting how, once again, I'm kind of spiraling back to communication being the most important thing. But this is just really interesting stuff, because I've seen this with millennials. I have some friends who aspire to be a writer, or aspire to do some great thing, but it's kind of they're sitting around waiting to be discovered without actually putting themselves out there and putting some action into it. And then, maybe if you put some more action into it or put yourself out there, maybe you'll be discovered. But it's we can't just sit around hoping that, people are going to just show up at our door to help us along in our life or a career or in our love life. And I see that a lot too with certain, I guess, spiritual folk, in the sense of who want a wife or a husband in marriage. And it's kind of they're being really passive about it, because they're well, God will send me a wife, or God will send me a husband. And I do think manifestation happens, and these things, who knows, you could go to the gas station to fill up your car and meet the man or woman you're about to marry. But the reality is we kind of have to put a little bit of work into it. And maybe that means we have to put ourselves out there without expecting to like meet the number one person. It's just sometimes these things happen when we least expect it. But we at least, if people are looking for like a wife and stuff like that, you at least have to kind of put yourself out there, or at least develop your character and your soul so that you're better prepared for when that person comes in. You can, best handle the emotions and stuff like that. So I just wanted to share some thoughts about this because I just found that those two brief conversations were really interesting. And I think you see this a lot with like victimhood mentality. It's like all this blame, and that is not necessarily passive, but it is a little bit to the sense that it's like things are entitled, or we deserve this, or we deserve to be treated this way because we've gone through X, Y, and Z. And like I understand that point of view, but life doesn't work like that. I mean, that's the whole reason why the book The Secret and all this manifestation stuff has gone a little out of control. It's because people are like sitting on their couch like waiting to win the lottery, and it's like they're living in a fantasy land with they want money to come to them passively without like looking at their bank account. Like, are you wasting your money? Are you eating out every single day? So you're spending, $95 in fast food costs a week when that $95 could probably make you, 18 meals for you and your family. So anyways, I don't know. I just wanted to share some thoughts, but I think the world is a very lonely place. And I think if you want to not be lonely, you have to put yourself out there. And I've talked about this with people who've gone through depression. Being depressed is not easy, and there are times when you want to sit back and reflect and be alone, but at some point when you get too much in your head, actually being social is a very good thing. So it's important to have this balancing act, right? It's kind of a balance between giving and receiving, and also being active or aggressive, but also passive in some way. Like, if you're 300 pounds, the weight isn't going to just melt off of you. You have to be aggressive and do some form of lifestyle change. That's just the way it is. If you want to become a VP at some corporate company, like, you got to be aggressive. You can't just sit back in the corner and kind of like hope and pray. And so there is a little bit of a difference. Being passive is not necessarily being weak. It's just you got to put some action to certain things that you want in life. And I think the world is a very lonely place because too many of us are sitting around waiting for someone to invite us somewhere. And then when we do get invited places, we don't take up on those opportunities and things like that. So anyways, these are some thoughts that I had. Have a great rest of your day. If you can, please subscribe to this channel. You can also support me on Patreon if you believe in me and my voice and my message. And thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. All right, see you guys soon. Bye.